Hey yo, Pineapples, Ned Shearer back again with yet another brand new, well, actually an updated deck profile this time. I do apologise again for being so late, I suppose would be the correct word, in bringing you deck profiles, but I've decided to bring in a updated banned list version of the Salamangreat, as you can see before here, with Miragestallio coming back. I thought I would have a bit of fun, and honestly, this deck is a lot of fun. The way I've played it anyway, I've played it at one of my locals. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I can't take it in this week. But last week, I think I came either was third or fourth in my last locals, winning 2 out of the 3 rounds. So it wasn't. So it was again, it was a lot of fun. There was a couple of changes that I would show. I'm not going to show you a side deck for this one, just because it's tailored to my locals in particular. So you can literally throw in whatever you feel like, whatever sidecars that either tailor to your locals or in regards to the metagame. But this is my version of the Salamangreat list that I'll get into right now, and I have to show off the lovely Soul Burner structure deck playmat that I actually won during that particular sneak peek. So this deck is 40 cards. It's 24 monsters, 11 spells, and 5 trap cards. So I'll get into it. Obviously, starting with the Salad monsters. Obviously, 1 Gazelle, because it's at 1. There's no need to explain that. And the other one off I'm playing is 1 Falco. I'm not running Foul anymore. I was originally running it, but now that Stallio's too good, you've got to just... There's just so many other cards that are better, I feel, in order to run. So 1 Falco, 1 Gazelle. For 2 Orbs, I'm playing 2 Gazelle. 2 Jack Jaguar. I wish I could run 2 Gazelle. 2 Jack Jaguar. 2, I think, is correct. There's been, because of things like Bell and now the Sky Strike as a pretty viable threat. Shark Cannon's a really good card, so just banishing the first one of this is kind of hurtful, which is why I always run the second one. The second one has come up in which someone DD crowed the first one, and I couldn't play, so yeah, definitely recommend 2. As for the 3 Elves, I'm playing 3 Spinny and 3 Foxy. I want to get to Miragestallio on my first turn as quickly and as promptly as I possibly can, which is why I'm running the 3 max, which is why I'm running max out on these. Just these plus any one of these 2 is just full combo. I can't say enough about this deck. It's so much fun to Stallio's back. And I'm not running Lady Debug anymore, so for the Cyber support, I'm running 3 Flame Buffalo. I don't think Debug is all that great anymore, I find. I think Flame Buffalo has a lot more applications to it. There's been a lot of games where my debug has been hit with like a Solemn Strike, and then that just ends my turn. Where this, you can just normal summon this, and then you can continue to go off because the strikes won't be able to do anything. So I think this is a lot better, in my opinion. I could be wrong. You could play 2 and 2. You could play 3 of one and not the other. But I like Buffalo personally. A, it's a fire monster, and B, it's a level 3. So I just think it's probably better for the long run. I'm also playing 1 Sea Archiver for a good extender. I was originally running Parallelic Seas, but there's not enough room to run any more rank 4s, and you don't want to combo as much anymore with a deck with Parallelic Seas. So I find that just Sea Archiver is more than enough to continue my plays. As for the hand traps, I'm running 13 hand traps at the moment. I'm running 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Phantasme, 3 Effect Veiler, and the 1 Prohibit Snake for the monsters. These are pretty self-explanatory. The Phantasme from my last locals, 1000% should have been Bell. 1000% should have been Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, but I don't, for some bizarre reason, I don't own any Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, so, and Phantasme is also my favorite hand trap, so it does come up, but I think Bell is a better choice. You can honestly probably run 2 and 2 and then cut the Prohibit Snake. I like the Prohibit Snake as a one-of for a couple of reasons. Just for those hard matchups, like a Dragoon matchup where you can't out it by targeting it, you can just spin it back to their deck. And then it's also a Cyberse monster, so you can actually literally normal this, make a Balinx, get your field spell, and then continue off. So it does have its applications in the deck. It's pretty solid in my opinion. Obviously, again, it does get sided out a lot, but nonetheless, it's still a really good card. The other 3 hand traps I'm running are obviously the 3 Infinite Impermanence. I have had no qualms with Infinite Impermanence and Veiler. I think it's absolutely correct. Ash, it's a fire monster, you can recycle it. It's probably the most generic one at this stage, give or take maybe Ghost Bell. Again, I don't own any Ghost Bell, so I don't currently run it. But 1000%, if I'm playing this at a tournament, I would either side these and play Bell, or because I'm a big sap for this particular card, I would play 2 and 2. That's the only thing that I could think of. As for the spell cards, I'm running 1 Circle, 1 Field Spell, Sanctuary. There's not much to say about them. You only need them at 1. Some people might give me a lot of chaff about this, but I'm playing 3 Will of the Salamangreat. I actually like 3 of this. Sometimes 1 of this does get sided out if I'm going first, but if I'm going second and I want to, maybe game 3 and there's only like 2 minutes left, I want to kill them, so I want to see this and I want to continue my plays. It's also a very good extender on the off chance that my board gets hit with a Nibiru. I've still got the option of dropping this, bringing it back, still setting up a reasonable board. However, it won't be as good as it probably would have been. But nonetheless, I like 3 of this. Obviously, you can cut this down to 1 or 2. I've seen many lists play just a 1 copy of it. I just like 3 of this card. One of them's an easy side out card as well, so it's not all bad in the long run. And then to round it off, 3 Signet Mining, 3 Pot of Desires. There's been very few lists that don't be playing 3 Pot of Desires and 3 Signet Mining. Some lists play 2. I do understand 2, but for consistency purposes, I think 3 is absolutely correct. Maybe going second, I side one of them out. But for a starting 40 cards, I think 3 Pot of Desires is absolutely correct for that consistency. Because if you go through all your plays, you get your Sanctuary, you get your Gazelle out of your deck, you've got a trap card in the graveyard to recycle off of Wolf, then you drop this to either add hand traps or more salad cards to continue your plays. It's just simply too good not to run at 3, I find. The last 2 trap cards, obviously, are 1 Raw, 1 Rage. I don't see myself bumping either of them up to 2 or more, but I do see an argument into doing so. You could probably cut a Will for either one of these playing it at 2. I wouldn't play both at 2, just because these obviously require a Salamangreat Link monster, and I don't know, I just feel like that it's not as prevalent to play now. Just having the one of either of these is, for me, been good enough for me. So, yeah, not much else to say about that. I do like them at 1 apiece. So that's the 40 card main deck. I'm only going to just fly through this, I feel like. So for the extra deck for the Xyz monsters, he's back, he's big, he's bad. It's Miragestallio at 1. I miss this card. I really do. For those who actually don't know what this card does, it requires just 2 level 3 monsters, so it is pretty generic. So one of its skills is you can detach a material from it to special summon a Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position, but if you activate this effect, you can only activate fire attribute monsters effect for the rest of the turn. Its other effect, if this Xyz monster is sent to the graveyard as via a link material, you can target a card on your opponent's board and return that to the hand. So it does have its application. Obviously, you can only activate 1 of each effect per turn. It does have its good applications. It's 2k, so it's pretty big. 2k attack, so it's pretty big in the sort of beatdown game. If you need to go for the sort of I want to win, so I'm going to put as much damage on the board as I possibly can. So I miss that card. I really do. The other Xyz monster I run is Dweller. I don't know how good it is. You could probably get away with literally any other rank 4, Baguska, probably. If you want to run a Trap Hole in there, you could probably get away with a Rafflesia. But hasn't steered me wrong yet. It's very rare that I do get it out, because the only level 4 monsters I run in there are the 2 Jaguar and the Falco. But other than that, it has its applications. Again, you could probably run Baguska. You could literally run probably any other card if you really choose, but I like the option of going into a rank 4. For Link monsters, 3 Balinks, 3 Wolf, 2 Heat Leo. Originally, before Stallio came back, I was against playing 2 Heat Leo. I just thought before Stallio came back, Heat Leo was just a redundant card because it didn't add you anything. It was a big beat stick, but it felt like there was other cards that I could play. I could make a Phoenix and co-link it, that way I can kill a card and then draw another card and get another card back from the graveyard to my fire monster back to my hand. I just felt like that had more impact than the 2 Heat Leo. But now that Miragestallio is a thing, I think 2 Heat Leo is absolutely correct. The ability to link this plus a Stallio to make the Leo, to then spin a back row and then spin another card with the Stallio. It comes up quite often, actually, I find. I've even done it to 2 back row which actually won me the game. So it's a really, really solid card. I do recommend 2. I wouldn't play 3. There's just no room. It's as simple as that. Sorry for the fact that they're secret rare and the rest of them are ultra rare. Anyway, for the remaining of the Link monsters, 1 Splash Mage, 1 Update Gemma, 1 Transcode, 1 Access Code. These are pretty obvious and standard in most Salamangreat lists, I find. This to summon something back, this to make something get double attack, this to revive something back, this to kill your opponent with 2 attacks thanks to Update Gemma. It's pretty self-explanatory, those ones. The other card that I'm currently running and testing out, and it has worked in probably, I don't know, it hasn't come up as much as I thought it would, but it does have its applications. I'm playing the 1 Appaloosa. The reason being is that if you have a dead Heat Leo on your board, and you've got no way to either recycle the other one, or there's no viable target to spin another back row back, I have linked this plus another card to make the Appaloosa for 2. That way I'm also protected against, say, hand traps. Nibiru is a big one for this deck. This deck just hard loses Nibiru unless you open almost perfectly. So this does have its applications. It has come up in very, very few games, but this could be literally any other card, I find. Phoenix, Heater, another rank 4, another rank 3 if you really choose. But this could be literally another card. I like the Appaloosa for its applications. In my local game would probably be the correct term for that one, I suppose, wouldn't it? But that is it for my Salamangreat updated deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I probably sped through this quite fast just to get it over and done with because I haven't made a video in so long, but I'm fairly certain most of you, well, I would like to think that most of you know what Salamangreat cards do. There was no point in me explaining it too much and going in too depth on what they do. It's a pretty much very standard cookie cutter list. The only things that I would change is probably the hand trap ratios or something like that. There have been some lists that play Strike, like Solemn Strike as well, and then cut down the amount of wills. But other than that, the most of it's just pretty standard cookie cutter. It's been really, really fun to play Miragestallio again. It's been a really, really fun deck for this past 2-3 weeks, I think, since the ban list dropped. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Any tips, tricks, or queries about the deck, by all means, leave them in the comments below. I'll endeavor to read all those lovely things you leave behind. It's a really fun deck. I do highly recommend it. It's pretty budget too. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. And until next time, thank you again. Peace.